Assalamu alaikum habibti, welcome to another episode of That Behavior Change Show. Today we are going to talk about the illusion of productivity. And I know as a working Muslim woman, if you're watching this, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know those days where you feel like in your head you've done so much, right? Like you've nailed everything and you're tired and you're exhausted, but then you look back at the end of the day and there's nothing that got done physically. It was all in your head and you're wondering, where did my time go, right? So if you're someone who's into her planners, into organizational apps, into color-coded calendars, then I'm talking to you. Because your Sundays, they may look like, this is what I'm doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Everything is color-coded, everything is organized, and you feel good about it, and you should. But then Wednesday comes and a kid gets sick. A client cancels a call and they want to reschedule. Your husband needs something from you. A family member needs this. This happens and that happens. And suddenly you have all of these things happening in your life that you didn't anticipate, and they don't fit into that planner that you had, that you created on the Sunday. And now you're stuck. You don't know what to do. And suddenly this feeling of overwhelm is rushing through you because you don't know how to navigate this unexpected changes in your life. And what tends to often happen is we don't question the planner. We don't question the operating system under which you're operating from. Maybe it was the wrong one. Maybe it didn't suit my life. Maybe I need to adjust it. No, we don't have those conversations. The conversation that we often have is, I'm not organized enough. I rested too much. Maybe I shouldn't have gone out. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have done that. And when we get to that place where we bring it back to us, the self-judgment and the self-shame, right? That's when we really get into trouble. That's when the overwhelm takes over. That's when we start to feel not enough, not good enough, not capable enough. We start to lose confidence. And then what tends to happen is these human emotions and feelings start to have this ripple effect in all of these other areas of our lives. So if we ask ourselves, where is this need to perform coming from? This need to be productive every minute of every single day. Well, where is it coming from? But it's not coming from Deen, that's for sure. It's coming from hustle culture. It's that the guru that tells you have to wake up at 4 a.m. to start your day because that's what successful people do. You have to make sure that every single minute of your single day is geared towards building your business and this and making money and all of these things. And that can work for a bachelor with no responsibilities. That can work for someone who just has them to feed. They don't have anyone else to answer for. But that's not you. You're a Muslim woman. You're a mother. You're a wife. You're a daughter. And most of all, you are the slave of Allah. Your family has a rights over you. Your business does have a right over you. Absolutely. Your husband has a right over you. Your kids has a right over you. Your Lord has a right over you. And you have a right over yourself. So if we spend our day in this hustle culture where we are only focusing on one area, our business, because that's what the guru said, what happens to everything else? Where do we fit everything else in? And this is where the overwhelm comes in, because the problem is not the plan itself. Planning is great. The problem is that planning is not operating from a perspective of a busy Muslim woman who has other responsibilities beyond her business. Because what tends to happen is, because we're operating from this place that's not for us, that wasn't built for us, this is why you're constantly finding yourself when you're working. Because this is the thing, in your heart, if you're not giving your kids enough time, you know it. You know in your heart, if you're not giving your health enough time, you know it. You know in your heart, if you're not giving your spouse enough time, you know it. You know in your heart, if you're not giving your Lord that time, right, to worship Him the way He deserves to be worshipped. Although we can never worship Allah the way He deserves, but we do our best, right? Because you know that in your heart, yet you're neglecting all of these areas of your life, is going to continue to eat at you. So even when you're working, your mind is not there, because all of these other areas are being neglected. Why? Because we are in hustle culture, because of the pressure that we feel to perform a certain way. So how would it look like if you learned how to be able to, you run your business, you give your business its rights. But also, you know how to give your children their rights, your spouse their rights, Allah his rights, yourself your rights. Can you imagine the confidence you're going to have in how you show up, even in your business? Because now when it's time for business, you know it's time for business, because you're going to be able to give it all, because you know you've already allocated time for everything else. So then you're able to focus on what needs focusing at that moment in time, because you know when that time is done, you're going to move on to the next thing. And because you're filling your cup in all of these other areas as well, you're giving your kids that time that they deserve, you're giving your husband his rights, you're giving your Lord his rights. The back of your mind is clear, your conscience is clear, you're calm, you're not overwhelmed, which means you're going to be able to run your business from a place that's empowering, from a place that is strong, from a place that will allow you to actually be successful, not from a place that's exhausting and overwhelmed and foggy and panicky. So all of this to say is this: you are a Muslimah first. You're the slave of Allah first. Out of everyone, Allah has the most rights, right? And when we neglect that part of ourselves, when we prioritize all the other areas of our lives, nothing that we do, we're going to be able to do from a place of calm and content. That's the first thing that you need to know. It's not going to matter how much money you make. You're not going to feel at peace with that money. You're not going to feel at peace with how you're operating. Why? Because you're ignoring the most important thing in your life, which is your relationship with Allah. And then you have rights over yourself. We're able to look after yourself. And because now you're creating the best version of yourself, guess what? Your husband, he gets the best version of you. Your kids get the best version of you. Your business gets the best version of you. And suddenly everything, all the pieces of the puzzles are connecting beautifully. And this is exactly why I created the Quwa blueprint, because after coaching hundreds and hundreds of high achieving Muslim women over the 10 years, one thing I've noticed is the people who struggle the most with their health, the physical health, is high achieving Muslimas. It's working Muslimas. Why? Because we're givers. We love to give. We love to take care of everybody else. But we forget we are human. Right? So we're operating from a place of I can give, I can do this, I've got this hustle culture, do this, do that. But through all of that, we neglect ourselves. You can't pour into other things or other people's cups when yours is empty. So the mental health struggles. Why? Because again, it's the overwhelm and the stories. Because again, we want to perform to the best that we can. Right? But we can't, because our relationship with Allah isn't where it needs to be. We feel like we're neglecting our kids, our spouse, and all of these things. So our mental health is actually being impacted with overwhelm and guilt and exhaustion. We start to worry about every client, what they're going to think, what if this happens and that happens. And then what tends to happen is we try to control all of those ifs as if we can control everything. We can't, but we think we can. So that takes a hit on mental health. And then of course our spiritual health, because we're spending so much time trying to fill in the gaps that we're neglecting the most important relationships. So the idea behind the blueprint is to not just help you be strong physically, right? To achieve accolades and to make money and all these things. No, it's to help you build strength. Yes, physically, but also psychologically, mentally, to have resilience and also spiritual strength, because you are a mind, a body, and a soul. You are a soul first and foremost. And the body is the vessel that takes your soul through this world. And how you see this world, it's going to be based on your mind and your heart and your qalb, right? So all of these things work together. When one is ignored, that's when we feel deficient in all of these other areas. That's when the exhaustion comes in, the overwhelm comes in, the lack of confidence, the lack of self-worth, the lack of self-respect, the lack of self-value. When we crave onto external validation to feel worthy, when we cling onto the business success to feel like good enough, right? Why? Because we are lacking the foundation. We are not operating from a strong foundation. So the idea behind the Quwa blueprint is to help you build a strong foundation to operate from. Because when you're strong in that identity, outside all of your other identities, your inner core identity, as a strong slave of Allah, everything else, the ripple effect goes into everything else, subhanallah. So if this program sounds like something you may be interested in, you're curious about, just leave a comment, email me back, and we can discuss further, inshallah. In the meantime, whether you take me up on the program or not, in the meantime, understand that not everything that is being thrown out there on social media is going to serve us as Muslim women. It's not. We need to be very careful with the ideologies we adopt, okay? Ideologies we fall into, and the behaviors we engage in, because we have different values. We have different responsibilities, and we have different lives. And the main thing, we have a different purpose. Our purpose as Muslimah is to do what we can in this dunya so that we can achieve Jannah. That's our purpose. So once we remember our purpose, when we remember our values, when we remember what's important for us, inshallah, we are going to be able to operate from that place, inshallah, and succeed beyond making the money, beyond our businesses, bi'idhnillah. Assalamu alaikum.